Hello and welcome to a new episode of M&H Breakfast Banter. With me is Anita Menon, who is the M, and I am Ron Howard, the H. Been a long time, Anita.
Yes.
Several months
Yeah.
with Ramadan and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. We thought that breakfast banter would not be appropriate during Ramadan.
And certainly not eating breakfast, yeah.
Yeah,
So we have a very special guest, don't we? And a different one.
very
because
different.
He's kind of in the world of business and meditation or Tai Chi. But anyway, you know him better than I do. I will let you introduce him.
But
But
first,
before we do, there's this interesting breakfast as well, of which I've already eaten what I would call a spicy potato sandwich, which I'm sure has a different proper name.
it's called vada pav. It's from the west of India in Maharashtra. It's a very staple back there. People have it all the time for breakfast, for snack, for anything basically. It's one of my favorite snacks, and I'm glad that you tried it.
I not only tried it, I finished it.
Yes, and how was it?
Quite enjoyed it. I could do without the chilies, but
You went on and bit a big bite of the chili.
we have what we call chip butties in the UK, don't we? Which is basically potatoes in bread.
Yeah.
Chip
Yeah.
potatoes in bread. So it's not. I'm not totally unused to the taste.
But it doesn't have spice like the one
Yeah,
this one
well,
does.
It took me a
Yes.
few minutes for that to wear off. What else is there?
So today the breakfast is from one of my favorite Indian joints, and they are very good at street food, Indian street food. It's called Kailash Bhavat, and they are in Dana Mall. We've ordered some North Indian specialties, some West Indian specialties, and South Indian as well. They pretty much do all kind of cuisine from India. We have dosa and sambar, we have chole bhature, we have gulab jamun for Ron because he's really struggling after that chili episode. We also have mango lassi and various condiments and stuff to go along to just enhance the flavor, basically make it more spicy.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So that's our breakfast today, and I'll go ahead and introduce our guest,
please.
Teodor. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you very much.
Happy that you found time to come on our podcast. I know we've been planning this for quite a while, and something or the other kept us from getting together and doing this. I've known Theodore for nearly 6 odd years, if I'm not wrong, and we met in very different circumstances. I was not feeling very well when I met him, and it was for work, and we had a common client. And he immediately noticed that I wasn't feeling well and I looked sort of sick. But I wasn't projecting myself like that at all, but he picked up on it. And then I said, "How did you know?" And he said, "Your energy spoke before you did." So that is what got to me in terms of, how did he read my energy? And is it even possible to read people's energy like that, you can definitely read energy of people you know very well, but people you're meeting for the first time, how's that even possible? So, fast forward, it's been a fantastic friendship over 6 years, and we've worked together on several things in the past. And Theodore is a Tai Chi master. I also happened to learn one set of Tai Chi for 3 to 4 months or 6 months with Theodore. And since then, I've been on and off with him in terms of my practice. But that entire experience of learning Tai Chi was pretty transformational for me. Since then, I've also done a water transformation course with him and several other things which I don't particularly remember right now. But every bit of those interactions have always left me very enriched. That is something that I must say. So today's podcast is going to be a little different from what we usually do.
Is there going to be a practical demonstration of Tai Chi by you, Anita?
I can try and follow him from whatever I remember, but I think you don't forget these things. It's something that just stays with you. So we can do that. Right, Theodore?
Sure.
So welcome to the podcast, Theodore, and we will start. Yeah? Okay. So before we get into your current way of life, which I'm very familiar with, we would like our audience to know about your past in terms of what did you do as your profession before you got into self-development, leadership, Tai Chi, and martial arts.
Right. So first of all, thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here. I've been following your podcast
Thank you.
every episode, and
Thank you.
as you know,
Wow.
I'm sharing it with everyone I know.
Yes, yes.
And I believe it's very interesting to invite people from different areas, because at the end of the day, it's about the human skills.
Yes.
And if I have to choose talking about myself and my experience, I think all my experiences of work and life led me to where I am today. So I was a hotelier. I graduated from an economics business university in Romania, where I am from, and I then ended up working for a multinational hospitality multinational company, and had the chance and opportunity to travel the world, since being a multinational, they had a lot of branches everywhere, and I was very dedicated. Same I am right now. I mean, whenever I do something, I'm very dedicated to what I do, and I jumped from one position to another position, and I ended up in leadership position, executive leadership positions, where I think one of the most important thing to share is dealing with people. You can call it leadership, but in reality, I think it's a bit more than leadership. It's understanding human nature. So then I got a little bit sick at one point of time in my life, and I decided that it's time to change. So I opened my own company, my own school of martial arts, and I am who I am right now. I'm teaching, and I'm teaching a method which is called the Key Train method. So
Is martial arts something you've done from a young age?
it is actually, yeah, it is. When I was very young, around 9, 10 years old, I got into a fight, saving a friend, and I was beaten up pretty well, even ended up in a hospital. And after that experience, I decided to learn self-defense, martial arts, self-defense, and not to be in this situation anymore. So,
And it
which
worked.
I did. Yeah, it does.
And which martial arts was that?
I started with karate.
Okay.
So karate Shotokan, and then I did some boxing. I did some Kyokushinkai, some kickboxing, and then life took me to other types of martial arts. So I practiced Aikido.
Yeah.
And then I ended up doing Chinese martial arts, Tai Chi, Bagua, as you know already.
Yes. So, what made you switch gears from this very hectic corporate life that you had to now one where you're seeking harmony and you're seeking balance in your life through Tai Chi?
I think in a way everybody's seeking harmony. I think they're just not very disciplined at it. I think martial arts gives you the discipline to do it. However, whenever I have the chance, many people consider Tai Chi as a martial arts only. But Tai Chi itself is not only a martial arts. Tai Chi is a principle of life, is a way of life. It's the way to seek balance. So if you know the sign of yin yang, Tai Chi is the perfect balance between yin yang before it is considered a martial art.
Okay.
So martial art in Tai Chi is maybe 20% of the concept of Tai Chi.
Okay. And you had you had your own training center here where I also came and studied Tai Chi with you. How was that whole experience for you in terms of teaching your students and people from all walks of life, this martial arts? What was the outcome like for them?
I think everybody has a certain motivation, same as the employees of a company, same as the kids in a family, same as all of us. I think what motivates us, what drives us, is very important. And some of my students, some of my clients were motivated to learn self-defense, but the majority of them were fascinated by this, let's say, unknown world of energy. And as you were mentioning in the beginning, reading energy. Actually, reading energy is anybody can do it. I mean, any of us can do it. We just need to silence our mind. When you close your eyes, your mind opens. When you silence your mind, your heart opens. So then you just need to do these steps to start feeling. So I think motivation of people is generally healing, is to feel better, to get healthier, to get stronger.
Can I ask what you mean by balance?
Sure. Balance means it's very subjective. I think everyone has a different meaning of balance. But in Tai Chi, we learn from nature. So when you look at nature, you see that, for example, there are 4 seasons, right? Any of the seasons is in balance? Not really. You need to look at the 4 seasons as a whole. So let's say you're angry. Is being angry balance?
No.
It depends. If
Okay,
you're
Robin,
frustrated and you get angry, anger is a way to balance your frustrations. So I think balance is a process. I don't think it's a state of being.
Right. So I know for a fact that you conduct leadership programs and coaching as well. What kind of people approached you for that, and what was the outcome of those leadership transformation programs that they did with you?
It's a very interesting question because I was actually just thinking about it in the last few weeks. I've been invited to Saudi Arabia to do a course on emotional intelligence.
Okay.
And I've done about a month and a half ago, just before Ramadan. And I've done 1 full day of emotional intelligence training.
Okay.
And while I was preparing for the course, and I was, Daniel Goleman, his book, and maybe other books which we can mention. And while I was preparing, I realized that actually leadership is emotional intelligence.
Entirely.
Entirely. So I would say the main thing that we can teach or we can inspire people is to become a little more emotional intelligent.
And what does exactly emotional intelligence mean from your point of view?
I think understanding the patterns of life. Patterns of life differ from person to person, from situation to situation, from crisis to crisis. I think true leaders, when they understand the patterns, they know when to act. They know when to do something or when to intervene and fix the problem, I would say. But if you don't have the understanding of the patterns, it's really, really hard to do something that will create balance, as you were asking.
Is it hard for grown-ups and adults to actually learn emotional intelligence at this late stage? Isn't that something that you teach a child when they're growing up, and it just evolves into proper emotional intelligence when they're older? But actual grown-ups who are conditioned by life a certain way, how do you bring about that change in them then? Isn't it a bit too late?
Um, yeah, I think for some it is, but there are still people that are interested to change.
Yeah.
I think I worked a lot with children,
Okay.
and I think one of the fundamental questions in leadership is: Are we born leaders? Are we made? Are we making ourselves leaders? So I think working with children that are from 4 years old all the way to 14. So I did a lot of work with children, and I took the liberty, of course, without telling them, to observe them and to learn from them. And it's fascinating to have a group of 15 to 20 children in their 4 or 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old, and to see how some of them are born leaders.
Yes.
They haven't learned how to
Automatically taken.
take the lead and how to react in a certain way. So I think we are somehow born leaders, but on the way we get formed, and some of us lose these abilities and some of us get trained into these abilities.
Did you have to ask anything about emotional intelligence,
Well,
Ron?
no, I thought you'd bring me up on that. Yeah. Somebody that has almost zero emotional empathy. I don't know about intelligence. Not much empathy.
I think
But
empathy is a
then
big,
you've
big
asked- hold on.
part of emotional
I'm
intelligence.
not really interested or have ever been interested in really being a leader anyway.
Mhm.
That's
But you are doing
No,
this
no,
podcast. You
well,
are already.
I don't even lead my own family, so I just nothing against you, but everywhere I go, everybody's talking about being a leader. You know, I used to go, example, BIBF leadership, all this. Not everybody wants to be, but I know Tai Chi is a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I knew that when you said emotional intelligence, that I'd get a question from you.
I couldn't resist.
I don't know whether I lack it or it's just empathy that
I am just joking, Ron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I took it as a joke. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's a joke.
Right. Anyway, other than that, what other courses do you run for leaders or anybody? In fact,
Like, what all do you offer as Key Train?
So I have the corporate trainings that I used to do before, and I still do from time to time. But my focus really is on helping people. I would say find their inner peace, and that can be done at work. If you have, for example, what's the best way to deal with your relationships at work, for example? I think personally, I think one of the best ways, first of all, to deal with yourself when you look in the mirror, but then is to really learn the common sense of the art of giving feedback and receiving feedback. So if you learn how to communicate very well, then your relationships improve. Of course, this is part of the emotional intelligence. Again, we go back to the same thing. How do you cope with people that you don't like, for example? How do you cope with your boss that sometimes makes decisions that are against your beliefs? Yeah. How do you cope with your employees that are not performing the way you want? Yeah. So I think my goal and my purpose with what I do is to show people that there is another way, there is an effortless way to do anything, and that is Tai Chi. I'll give you an example. Sailing, for example. When you do sailing, when you're on your boat, you cannot go against the wind. You have to use the power of the wind to go somewhere. You can even go against the wind, but you cannot go directly towards the wind. You have to go around the wind, use the wind. So it's pretty much, maybe it's a bit more philosophical, but it's the same, it's exactly the same principle in Aikido, in Tai Chi, in everything that we do.
The first rule of any martial arts is that avoid conflict. Don't engage when there is a confrontation. Try to see if you can move out of that situation. But if you can't, and then you have no choice, then you engage.
Most people see Tai Chi as middle-aged people in the Far East in the morning doing these kind of things. How much is that a part of it?
It is, actually.
It is, yeah. As I was saying, so Tai Chi as a philosophy of life is one thing. Tai Chi Chuan is the martial art. The ones that you see people in their middle age practicing, that's Tai Chi Chuan, is the practice of martial art. But Tai Chi itself is much more than just a physical movement. Yeah, but yeah, it is. In my opinion, it is wrongly perceived that it's only for old people.
That's how people know it, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Movies play a big role in promoting this. I'll give you an example. Hypnotherapy, for example, hypnosis. Hypnosis has been is very, very, very good art. It's a very powerful art. It's the art of the mind, and you can do a lot of you can have a lot of benefits out of using hypnosis. However, because of several movies that put a a label on hypnosis, it became like a fake art or something like it's done by force or it's done to influence people. And in fact, it's very far from it. It's the same with martial art. It's the same thing. Martial arts that have been promoted heavily in a certain way, they stay like this in the general opinion of the public. But it's much deeper than what we see in the movies.
Right. I remember attending a water transformation course with you. Is that something you're still doing? Do you want to
Yes.
talk about that a little bit?
Yes. So water is something that is very much used in the philosophy of Tai Chi, because water, the properties of the water are by themselves, seeking balance. If you think about water, if you think about a cup of water, right? If you just hold it without moving it, it will balance out, right? So when you agitate the water will come down. Yeah. Now the water has memory, so you can, through my courses, I ask people to experience with water, to feel the water, to see what can they do with the water. And when we go through these experiences, we realize that water is alive, and we go back then to the idea, which is scientifically proven, that our bodies are made out of water, right? So whatever you learn about water, you learn about yourself. In fact, this is the initial reason where I started to study the water and doing these workshops and studying water.
Is there any case study you want to share around it?
There are, you mean from my workshops or? Yeah, absolutely. So we had in one of my first workshops about maybe 7 years ago, we had, so the workshop, I will just brief you how it works. So you have a bottle of water, and then you go into a state of deep relaxation with Tai Chi and Qigong, and then I ask you to hold the water in your presence, next to your body, either with your hands or just keep it next to you. And I ask you to recall an experience, a memory, something that was very significant in your life. And then while you're holding this water, you go through this experience. So all your emotion is energy in motion. Yeah, all your emotions start flowing through your body and through the water that you're holding. So that's about maybe 20 minutes to half an hour. And then you put away the bottle of water and you continue with the workshop. And then at the end, the people in the group, they will go, and I will ask them not to logically think, but emotionally feel, like what you were saying in the beginning, feeling the energy of the people. People are made of water, right? So I ask them to put their hands on the water and just write on a piece of paper the first thing that comes to their mind.
But that water is not their water.
Not
it's somebody else's water.
Somebody else's water. So each one has a sample of water, which they try to recall their memories and
then you exchange them.
Water.
Yeah.
And then what I do, I ask people to go place their hands on the bottle of water and write the first thing that comes through their mind. And of course, it doesn't work 100%. And the reason it doesn't work 100% is because our mind is not, the participants, they are not,
Sometimes
professional in the focus.
Also, they're sometimes not open to it. They're skeptical.
Yeah, let's say the ones that are coming to the workshops, they are already open, but they don't have the ability to focus. So while they're thinking about their experience, many other things come through their mind. So then the water will not be accurate. This is one thing. The second thing is that the people that read also have a lot of other things going through. However, even saying this, I had amazing results with this exercise when I had, for example, a person who thought about an experience when he was, I think, 12 or 13 years old, and from India, and he ran away from home. He jumped on a big fence to run away from his father, who tried to harm him and put him in jail, and very long, dramatic story. But he remembered all this running from home to a different place, which involved a fence, which involved sand on the floor, which involved different things. And we managed with the group to reformulate the story without him telling the story. So some people wrote tall fence. So while they were just putting the hand on the water, something came to their mind to write tall fence. Other people wrote running. Other people wrote breathing deeply, like breathing, not normally. So we managed to recreate a full story, not only
which matched
the emotions.
his.
The idea to recall a memory and not recalling an emotion is that memories are embedded with emotions, charges, So I don't ask people to record an emotion, but a memory.
Very interesting.
I think this made me go more and more into doing this type of workshops.
I had a very interesting experience doing that workshop. I was kind of deeply personal.
What was your problem?
My problem? I have so many problems. All right. So, do you want to get into explaining what is exactly the key train method, and you can show the book to our audience?
Sure. Key train method is a method of efficiency. So, in my corporate life, I learned how to create efficient corporations, efficient departments, efficient people. And it was all about profitability, efficiency, and so on. Now, when I moved away from that world and I started working on myself, I realized that I will be healthier, I will live longer if I am efficient with my health. So key train is a method of efficiency of your own health. So key means energy, obviously, and train, key train, how to train your energy. So it's a book of life habits that if you slowly start implementing in your life, you start becoming, more efficient. Your digestions become more efficient. Your lungs, your organs, your muscles, you feel better. You never feel tired. And that's in a nutshell what the key train method is.
And the other book, which we don't have at the moment, is about...
The other book is about the benefits of Tai Chi as a martial art. And sure, of course. Okay.
And the other book is called Tai Chi?
The other book is called Tai Chi, The Path Towards Self-Healing. So it's a book about how you can use Tai Chi to heal yourself, to feel better. Both books are available on Amazon and also here in some of the bookshops.
So what's the future for you?
Future. Future is, I think my dream is for as many homes in the world to have my book. I think my dream is to be present in more countries. I'm doing retreat programs in different parts of the world right now, and I try to develop that. And I think I won't be able to do it by myself, so I'm building a team at the moment, a team of people that experience. Yeah. It's nothing that you can teach. It's something that you have to experience. That's why it's going to take a longer time, but I think that's the only way.
Yeah, I mean, if they've experienced it themselves, then they are better at helping other people achieve the same thing.
Right. With the 2 years of pandemic, I realized that I have to reorganize my business model, and I have started to learn and to go more into the online business. So I'm working on launching a course which is called Get Well Faster.
How can people find you?
My website, www.keytrain.com. And it's very easy. I have a pretty comprehensive website and everything is there.
Yes, and he's also pretty popular on social media.
Which I wouldn't know anything about, would I?
His social media handle is @keytraining.
Right.
On
Yeah.
Instagram,
Yeah, and you're also on LinkedIn, right? As you
LinkedIn,
said.
YouTube, yes. But my main focus is on the website,
Website.
on my website, where I have information like articles. I have a lot of articles about different ways to feel better, basically. How to.
So basically, my retirement plan is very clear, Ron.
Train with Teodor.
Yeah, and I know he's going to have his Tai Chi village set up somewhere
Oh, you didn't say anything about that.
in Europe, and I'm going to settle in a Tai Chi village. That's my retirement plan.
And that's not a few years away or not?
I don't know, but that's
About
definitely-
5 years, I would say. Yeah. I think for all of us, it's about 5 years. Maybe 5, 6 years.
6
Yeah.
years. I don't know, maybe 10 years for me.
I mean,
God
it's not.
knows.
It doesn't have to be something permanent from the beginning, but wouldn't be nice to have a place in nature where you can be healthy, be with people like-minded, and and
Is that in the pipeline?
yeah.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
Yes, it is. Are there any reading references that you'd like to share with our audience? around leadership?
Apart from my books, I think my favorite book that anyone should read, not only people that are interested in leadership, is the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People,
Stephen
which is
Covey.
Stephen Covey.
Yeah,
Obviously, Emotional Intelligence,
I haven't read that.
which is Daniel Goleman. But then there is another book which I studied recently, and I emphasize the word studied. Reading is taking a book, reading it,
Yeah.
and then and then you kind of put it in a shelf, and
Yeah.
it's getting dusty.
Studying
But
is it
studying,
stays with you.
it stays, and you try to apply the book into whatever you're doing. So I think one book that is not very well known, and I think it should be read by anybody in the business field, not only but mainly in the business field, is Predictable Irrational. Is a book written by Dan Ariely, and is a book about Tai Chi, but he doesn't know it's about Tai Chi. It's a book about comparison. So you see on my book here, I have the Yin Yang. Yin Yang is about comparing things with others.
Okay.
So the book is written by this gentleman who had a terrible health experience. So he was burned. He got caught into an explosion when he was a teenager, and he lived in a hospital for 3 years, changing bandages. 85% of his body was burned. So while he went through this experience in the hospital, he understood very, very well the perception and how we make decisions based on perception. So when he healed and he went to university, he did his PhD on this field, and amazing, absolutely amazing book. So this is
Predictable, irrational.
Predictable Irrational.
Okay. I'm going to look that up for sure.
Absolutely.
So that is all from me, Ron.
Yes, all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can't say how was the breakfast because there's only me that's eaten any
Oh
so
no,
far.
I would definitely try.
I'm sure you'd like it, Theodor. So thank you so much for coming on to our podcast. And I'd like to thank our sponsors, EasyPay, for your continued support to our podcast. We are in our season 4 right now. And with Theodor, it's going to be episode 7. And thank you for our audience for always supporting and watching our podcast, giving us feedback, sometimes criticism, which is also necessary. You can find us on YouTube at MH Consultants. Make sure you go subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a podcast when it comes out. And you can also follow us on Instagrams for fun updates like the one I just posted about Ron
Even I
using
haven't seen
the.
that one.
So we are on MH Consultants _ Bahrain. So thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.